Okay, we are starting off this video with a disclaimer, just to say that yes, I fully acknowledge that I posted a book haul a few weeks ago, and that was all of the books I'd bought this year, and I'd only bought 21, and I was like, wow, this is great. I've only bought 21 books. That's pretty good. As you can see by the title, I've bought more books, and I've almost doubled the number of books I've bought this year. I'm just acknowledging it. I'm saying, yes, I see it. We're not gonna think too deeply into it. It is what it is. The books have been purchased. They are now mine. So, welcome to my used book haul. These books are in 3 chunks, and those are the 3 different times that I went shopping for these books. But I'll start out with the one book that not like the others. Cue the Sesame Street song, one of these things is not like the other. Anyway, the abnormal book in this haul, and the first one I'm gonna haul, is Misery by Stephen King. There's not really a story with this book. It was on my fall TBR. I wanted to read it, and I saw it at Target, and I figured I'd pick it up. So now I have it, and like I said, now I'm reading it. So this is the next stack of books I'm going to be talking about. I feel like I need to explain what happened here. I don't actually owe no one an explanation, but there was a set of circumstances that resulted in me picking up these books. So, for Christmas, my very kind aunt got me a gift card to a used bookstore that was very near where I used to live in DC. I saw it every day on my commute home from work, this bookstore. It was right by my metro stop. Everything about it was perfect, and I was like, wow, what a perfect gift. And I was so thankful, and I am still so thankful for her for getting that for me. And my plan was just kind of have the gift card in my bag, and then any point where I kind of like needed a pick-me-up or wanted to, I don't know, just get some books, I could just pop in, grab something, and go. So of course this was this past Christmas, and we all know what happened in March, COVID. So I just didn't have a chance to really go to the store often at all because COVID was happening. And I now find myself about to move away from DC in a few weeks. I will be moving back to California. So I felt this pressure. I was like, oh, I gotta go and use this gift card that was so kindly given to me. I can't use it online. So I was going to go and buy basically whatever books that I wanted. Like I would just be like, if I saw anything I was kind of interested in, I'd be like, yeah, I'm picking it up. I'm getting it. So through a set of circumstances, I went to what I thought was the store. I think you're understanding what's happening. So I went to what I thought was the store. Well, they have 2 stores. There's a warehouse one, and then there's a small one. So I went to the warehouse store, basically, or what I thought was. And I was having a great time. I was like, these books are so cheap. There's so many that I want to buy. This is great. So I have my stack of books. This is my stack, and I'm walking around, and I'm like, wow, I'm going to have all of these books. It's going to be a great time. And I'm so confident. I walk up to the counter, and I'm like, these are the books I would like to purchase. And then I get out my purse, and I hand over the gift card, and bless his heart, this man working was like, ma'am, this isn't second story books. And I was like, what? He was like, this is Friends of the Library. Second Story Books is like 5 blocks over. And I was like, oh, okay. So I panicked, and I was like, okay, no problem. I'll buy them anyway. So now I'm in a situation where I'm about to move literally across the country, and I just added 6 books that I have to pack for no good reason. But I got some books. These were so cheap. I got all of these, I think, for $14. If you have a Friends of the Library near you, you have to go and check it out. This was amazing, and I found some, pretty good finds. So, let's talk through them. Now that I've given you a whole spiel that was not needed, but I felt like I needed to share my story. The first book I got from there is Sweet Bitter by Stephanie Danler. I read this last month. I just really picked it up right after I got it. This is a book haul, not a book review. You don't need to hear about it. There's 2 books here that I fully meant to just kind of read and then leave or donate. And this was one of them. But if you watched my book haul, I think you'll have a guess that I'm not going to be donating this. I'm definitely keeping it. And again, it was just, I think, $2.50. Amazing. Also, I don't think I mentioned last time, this is an ARC, but it's signed. How cool is that? So, definitely keeping this one. The next book that I got that was in the list of planning on not toting across the country with me is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure how long I will keep a hold of this one because I picked it up for a reason. I've heard good things. I know that he wrote A Man Called Ove, or Uwe, and I've heard really good things about Beartown in particular, but I just don't know if it's one that I need to hold, and it's like a chunkier one, so who knows if I'll unhaul it before my move, but I picked this one up. The next book, I have no idea what this is. This is The Unbearable Lightness of Being Milan Kundera by, Milan Kundera. Sorry if that's mispronounced. I have literally no idea what this is. No idea what this book is about, but I picked it up because it's this olive editions. I really like these editions. Like, they all have these stripy spines. I have 2 other books in this edition. I have Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay and A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by someone. Don't remember who wrote that. I'll put it down here. So this is just kind of an edition where I've decided that if I see it, especially a used bookstore, if I see it, I'm going to pick it up because I really like how they look. It was $1.50, so I picked it up, and this one I'm definitely keeping to put on my shelves. The next one I got is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I will say I am definitely going to be taking off these stickers. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I got One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. I have read this already. I read it for school, but I did not have a copy of it, and I saw this, and I don't know, it has like those classic yellow pages. I had read it already, and I liked the edition, so I picked it up again for $1.50. Why not? I know why not, because I'm moving across the country anyway. The next one I got is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Just another, this is not one that I've read, but one that I've heard a lot about and I definitely want to read, so I figured why not pick it up. And the last one I got from this book shopping endeavor is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I've heard amazing things about this book. I read her two short feminist manifestos at the beginning of the year, and I knew that I wanted to read Americana, so I figured why not pick it up and have it. This has deckled edges. I cannot stand deckled edges. I don't see the point. It disrupts my reading. I'm just not a big deckled edges fan. But I think that this is a book that I'm going to want to read on audio because I'm pretty intimidated by it. It's big. It's almost 500 pages. I think the ideal situation would be like read it along with having it open, and then I can, if there's anything I want to mark, I can. But I'm happy that I have my hands on this. Okay, now we're going to jump forward in time because I kind of did that chronologically. We're going to go forward to when I actually found the right bookstore. After buying those 6 books, I still had the issue of having the gift card and needing to buy books with it before I left. So just yesterday, I think, I went to the right bookstore, which actually was amazing, and I may go back because I still have some money on there, but we'll see. And I picked up some books. Yes, this was the whole plan, Keely. We really talked my way through this. Okay. The first one I got is The Wayward Bus by John Steinbeck. I have never heard of this before. I am a big John Steinbeck fan. I've only read 3 of his books. No, I've read 4. I've read 4 of his books. I have never seen this book before. I've never heard of it. He does have quite an extensive list of books, so there's bound to be a bunch that I don't know of. And I don't really know. I think this basically just follows some people on a bus. And John Steinbeck just likes to write about people, which seems weird, but like a weird way to describe it. But oftentimes his books, some of them don't have as much of a plot, and it's just kind of exploring characters and their ambitions and goals and what makes them tick and that kind of thing. So I think this is just really that. Like, it seems like just a study of these characters on a bus. Really, I picked it up because this cover is pretty amazing, and I love the spine of it. I don't know if you're getting too much of a glare because it has that kind of like plasticky cover on it, but I just love the spine, and that's what's going to be pointing out on my Steinbeck section of my bookshelf. So, and the next book I got is, just look at this. We're just going to sit here. We're not going to talk about what this is. We're just going to sit here with this for a second. Ooh, did you see it? You got a little sneak peek. But then we're going to talk about the back, and then we're going to talk about the spine. I'm realizing I'm a big spine person. Like, I love a good cover of a book. If it's beautiful, like, that's it. I love a cover. But again, with bookshelves, what you see is the spine. And clearly, as you can see, this is Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. I just love the colors and I love the mountain range and everything about this. So I was very happy to see this. I've already read this and loved it, and I guess I'm becoming the person who buys multiple editions of the same book. I don't think I've done that yet before, so this is the first repeat, but I had to, I guess. It wasn't even a choice, it was necessary. And the last book that I got from the correct bookstore is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. So I was just talking about how we love spines. Spines are almost more important than covers. And this is a case where I like the cover a lot more than the spine. I now have strong opinions of this, but look how pretty this cover is. I love the swirling colors. Green's my favorite color, specifically this dark green. And I want to read this month. I've actually just started it this morning. But since this was on my list to read in October, I thought it'd be great to pick it up and have it. And this is the spine. It's not that bad. It's just split color blocking. I will say this edition is probably one of the most unreadable books I've ever seen. Oh, look at this. But this is just atrocious. The font is so condensed. There's like no spacing, there's no margins. The chapter headings go all the way to the top of the page. Horrible. I hate that. I love the break with a chapter heading. So yeah, this is fairly unreadable, and I don't know why we have like such a big, like I would much rather it be smaller and thicker. Anyway, I have feelings on this, but it doesn't matter because I'm reading it on audio. So, or I'm mostly reading it on audio and then following along with this. All I'm supposed to be telling you is that I picked it up and I bought it and now I have it, so I got this. Okay, so these all belong to the last section of this used classic heavy book haul. God, I love the smell of used books. They just have a very specific scent. It's so good, and this is how I'm gonna get COVID, is just sticking my face in some very used books. But if that's how it has to happen, then I'll take it. These books are all from the most adorable little town called Chestertown, Maryland. This over the 3-day Indigenous Peoples Day weekend, my best friend and I, Alyssa, went to stay in this very fancy and nice inn, where it's on a full estate, and it was all old. The building was built in 1794 or something like that, and it was just perfect. But this town had the cutest little shops. I got this cardigan there. It's very cozy and nice. I'm a little warm in it right now, but that's fine. We're not focusing on it. But then they had, honestly, one of the best used bookstores I've ever been to. The selection was incredible, and I'm like upset that I couldn't just buy everything there. So if you're ever in Chestertown, Maryland, you should definitely go to the Book Plate. Let's get into what I got. First of all, I found, finally, Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Don't have much to say about this. I read it a few months ago and I wanted a copy of it, and so I found one. The next book I picked up is this Pelican edition of Romeo and Juliet, and this is just, so this, I'm happy that I have it, but it's causing an issue for me because I think I've decided that now I want to go and find these Pelican editions because it's so pretty on the side and replace what I have now. Like, I'm going to now be on a hunt for these Pelican Shakespeares so I can fill out my collection and have a whole shelf of them, which is a real issue because there's only 3 of them there, which makes me think they're a little hard to find when there is all like so many of the other ones. But look at this. Look at this. Speaking of editions, these, and so speaking of editions and speaking of spines, look at these. Look at these orange penguin spines. I don't know why this is just me obsessing over spines this whole video, but come on. I don't have any of the orange penguins. I have the black and white ones, which I love looking at them all stacked together, but oof. Like, I don't know, I love these older editions, and it's just going to be one of those things where I'm in a used bookstore, and it's kind of fun because I could be anywhere, you know, traveling anywhere, and if I'm in a used bookstore and I see this, then I'll just pick up whatever they have. And this one had a lot of these. I held off and just got these. I could have gotten so many more. But so what I picked up is David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. I know nothing about what this book is about. I don't know if I'm going to read it anytime soon. We'll see. I really should have gotten a smaller one because this is quite chunky, but So I got this. Maybe I'll read it. I've only read The Christmas Carol by Dickens, so we'll see if I get to that one anytime soon. And the other two I got I'm pretty happy with. So I got Northanger Abbey. Have I ever held the book before? Okay, I've got Northanger Abbey in Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. I was looking for Northanger Abbey in particular because I don't own this, and I really loved it when I read it, and so I'd love to have a copy of it to read. Obviously, what else do you do with it, Keely? Hello. Look at her. Anyway, I just was so delighted to find this, and then obviously Mansfield Park also, and I checked, and I don't have Mansfield Park. I don't know what this is about. I don't know. I read the back, means nothing to me, so maybe it's about children. Who knows? So I just got these, and I'm so happy about these. Okay, and the last book I got from the bookstore, and the last book of this book haul is one that I'm very happy about. I think this and The Grapes of Wrath and probably the Romeo and Juliet are my favorite of this book haul, but I got this Christmas Stories by Charles Dickens, and I will be honest with you, it's just for the cover. I don't know why I keep doing that because I know it's not going to focus, but it's just this delightful drawing of or illustration of a Dickens Christmas scene. I'm just so happy with this. Like I've said before, I read Christmas Carol by Dickens before, but I didn't realize so there's two other Christmas stories. There's A Christmas Carol, The Chimes, and The Cricket on the Hearth. So these are 3 Christmas stories written by Dickens, obviously. But I'm just so, and they have little illustrations throughout. I was so happy. Like this, I don't know, I'm just so happy to have this. I think this is so fun, and I just really, really love the cover. And I definitely want to read this Christmas time. Okay, so now that we've talked through all the books I got, I want to do some stats. We're going to talk about some numbers, and if you know me, I love data. I love looking at numbers and stats, especially my reading. I figured we'd talk about some numbers and some stats about what's going on with buying books this year. I think from January to September, I bought 21 books. In the months of September and October, I have added 16 books to that list. So I almost doubled the number of books I bought this year. So that's bringing me to a grand total of having bought 37 books in the first 10 and a half months of 2020, which I think 37 isn't that huge of a number. I think it's just a little staggering that I bought 16 in probably a span of 1 month. I'm not anticipating buying a whole bunch of books by the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. But so I'm at 37 books that I've bought in 2020. Of that 37, I have already read 22, which is I think pretty good. That is 59%. That is up from 57% from when I recorded my other video. So I've read 22. That's 10 more than what I had read by the end of the other video. But that number is higher than I would anticipate because I have bought some books I've already read and I was just picking them up because I found editions I liked or they're, you saw the video, you know what I'm talking about. So that means that I've not read 15 books that I bought this year. So I haven't read 40% of the books that I have purchased. But I'm not saying I want to read all 15 by the end of the year. That's looking to be there's only 2.5 months left. It's a little rough to put on my list. There's some books here that I don't really have an interest in reading, or I'm not saying that I need to read by the end of the year. Like, I don't need to read Mansfield Park. I just really want to have my hands on it. It'd be super cool if I did read it, but I'm not putting that on a list per se. So with that in mind, we're going to very quickly just mention the books I do want to read by the end of the year. So we have The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, Disfigured by Amanda Leduc, White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, Misery by Stephen King, Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and Christmas Stories by Charles Dickens. So there are 2 books that are kind of on that list. That's being Beartown by Frederick Bachman. This one is either I read it this year or I unhaul it. Either one of those would satiate whatever I need to be going on. It's totally fine if I don't read it, but if I don't read it, I need to get rid of it. That's basically what I'm saying. And then there's Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. I did have this in my fall TBR, and I still really want to read it, but I found out that my friend Fiona also has this book, so we want to buddy read it. So, if we get that figured out, then I don't care when I read this by. If it takes us longer than by the end of the year to read it, then that's totally fine. But if we kind of chat through and we're like, maybe we won't buddy read it, then I definitely want to read this on my own by the end of the year. So that is 8 to 10 books that are on my physical TBR to read by the end of the year. Hopefully that happens. We'll see. I read 12 books in September. But it is now October 17th, and I have read a total of 2 books. So I am seeing that I am not consistently reading a whole bunch. So this should be doable, but maybe this will be very hard. And I can give myself this number, but I don't want to stress myself out. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I would just like it to have happened. We'll see. That's it. We are at the end of my used book haul. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed listening to me chat through all the books that I got in the last month and a little bit of the books I want to read. I'm glad that together we got to discover that I'm a little obsessed with spines and editions that match. So that's fun. I hope you have a super amazing day. Don't forget to vote. It's coming up very soon. I have resources down below on how to do that. Also, I will have all these books linked in my description box as always. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye. Second disclaimer of this video, there's no tea in this. You know what's in it? There's about 5 leftover chocolate chips from a few nights ago, and I just want some chocolate, so I got some chocolate chips and put them in a mug, so now I have a few of those there. Okay, we're done taking thumbnail photos. We're fine. This is fine. Bye.